Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Hoven of Ramos Law and your host for Health Matters. This week, we're going to talk about the difference between osteoporosis and osteoarthritis. It's a very distinct and important difference, and we're going to talk about it on this week's show. Stay tuned. Do you know the difference between osteoarthritis and osteoporosis? If you don't feel alone. Most people don't. They've heard the terms, but unless you've understood or been given this explanation by a doctor, you might not realize what they are. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes and go through that for you, and then we're going to talk about what it means in your body. So the term osteo means bone. And when we look at osteoporosis versus osteoarthritis, one is arthritis of the bone, one is thinning of the bone. So osteoarthritis is thinning of the bone. It would be taking this bone here, we got a nice wide space where that disc is there, that's a normal bone. But if we look over time due to increased stresses and pressures, poor posture, trauma, then we notice that this space gets thinner and squishes down. That's an example of osteoarthritis. And that can happen in any joint, by the way, that there's a normal space that's from point A to point B between two bones. So one bone ends and another one begins. That space between is your joint space. Because of trauma or other factors, that space can shrink, and that is an example of osteoarthritis. Again, it's caused by overuse, it's caused by trauma, it's caused by age, poor posture, all these things that lead to osteoarthritis. On the other hand, osteoporosis is an example of a bone leaching out a lot of its calcium and a lot of its minerals so that now it becomes very fragile. So osteoporosis is the person that you may have heard of that's walking off a curb. They step off the curb and all of a sudden their whole vertebra collapses down in a fractured way. Those are osteoporotic fractures. And they occur because, again, all of the minerals leach out of the bone, making them very unstable. So osteoarthritis and osteoporosis can both occur at the very same part of the body. We want to be careful in making sure that we're treating them correctly. Now, your doctor will know which way to treat them based on different kinds of diagnosis, whether it be imaging like X-ray, MRI, or CT, or some blood work can also tell us what's going on inside the bones and inside the blood. So there's lots of ways that we'll be able to know if it's osteoporosis or osteoarthritis, and the treatment for one is different than the other. For osteoporosis, if we catch it early, that's called osteopenia, then we can give some supplements and do some medications and help with that. If it's full-blown osteoporosis, then we have to be really careful, and there's some other medications that we can give to make sure that you're being as supported as possible. For osteoarthritis, it's all about movement. It's mobility of that joint. It's making sure that the muscles around it are stable, and it's making sure that you're constantly staying well hydrated and have low levels of inflammation in your body. So your doctor can explain all these things to you more, or if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to me directly at jim@ramoslaw.com. In the meantime, always remember that your health matters.